The very best thing about bullet journaling is that you can tailor the method to some pretty weird and unique needs. In my case, I'm prepping for a book launch on a pretty tight schedule, and this bad boy is how I'm going to stay on track. Whether you're a seasoned Bujo pro or just Bujo curious, I hope this peek into my own practical, minimalistic system inspires you as you design your own. Let's go! Bullet journals are usually split up into monthly spreads, but my book launch is in 12 weeks, so I desperately need something more robust. For that reason, the first few pages of this new spread will detail the next quarter, as opposed to a month, covering the entire period I'll be using this system for. With a base setup, I will fill it in with all my commitments. Videos that need posting, newsletters that need writing, deadlines, birthdays, and events that will inevitably affect my schedule. This is the heart of it, the page I'll come back to most often in the next few months. Having this whole roadmap laid out means I don't have to keep every little date in my head, which is a huge relief and much more reliable than my wonky memory. Next are my health trackers, which may seem useless, but they're actually the most important part of my Bujo setup. Keeping an eye on trends in your physical and mental health can save you a lot of pain later down the line. I don't know if you can tell from my voice, but I am so sick right now, and it is definitely because I overwork myself. When I do actually maintain these trackers, which I plan to do, I can recognize the early signs of burnout and avoid having serious sickness strike me later. Super useful, highly recommended. Another weird thing that I track are my relationships, as in I make sure I don't neglect any of my friends and family, which may seem cold and detached or too calculating, but it makes being social as an introvert so much easier. For example, I try to go to large gatherings at least 3 times a month. When I manage to squeeze all 3 into the first week, that means I can chill and relax for a bit. It's pretty great. If you're also an introvert, you should definitely try this out. It's one of those small, seemingly insignificant hacks that makes the rest of your life run so much smoother. With that done, we finally get into book launch stuff. The first section covers my final proofread of my already polished manuscript, a process that has a whole bunch of steps that I need to keep track of, which is why I made a list. We love lists over here. Then we have another tracker for content I have planned versus content I have prepped, ready, or published. I used to keep it in digital form, but that's super inconvenient now that I have a full-time job again and don't have access to my phone or computer at all times. So we're going back to our roots with good old pen and paper. There's also a primal part of my monkey brain that really enjoys seeing progress with a turn of a page. Super satisfying. Then we have a tracker for ARCs, or Advanced Reader Copies, which are copies of the book that I'll be giving out for free sometime soon. There's a link to my Substack newsletter below if you're interested and want to make sure you don't miss out. I haven't posted anything yet, but when there will be book launch updates, that's where you will find them. I'm so excited to finally share this book with people and can't wait to see how the early copies are received. Seeing the first reactions to a story is always terrifying, but it's also the best part of publishing, because right now only 5 people have read this book and I'm one of them. Finally, we have a bunch of task lists for various parts of the book publishing process, sorted into chunks according to their dependencies. These are the nitty-gritty steps that don't look glamorous but absolutely need to get done. Copyright registration, ARC campaigns, formatting headaches, cover reveals, and everything in between. Last week I promised you that I'd make a longer video breaking down the full 13-week plan, but for a high-level view, you can just check out that video. And that's my bullet journal setup, book launch edition. Part survival kit, part strategy, and the only thing keeping my 13-week countdown from going up in flames. The spreads themselves are simple, practical, and minimalistic, but that's the beauty of bullet journaling. Something simple doesn't have to be any less powerful. If you're an author or a fellow journaler, let me know in the comments what your non-negotiable spreads are. I'd love to swap ideas. And if you want to follow along my publishing journey as the book launch gets closer, don't forget to subscribe. I post daily and document the process as best I can. Thank you for hanging out with me, and happy journaling!